Lessons podcast, hosted by Angela Anderson.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Get Your Fucking Lessons People podcast. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Thank you for being here. This is a safe place to collect some useful nuggets of wisdom and positive insights, whether for personal reflection or to share with someone who may need it more. Every episode, I offer up lessons to increase awareness of the things that we don't discuss out loud, issues that we discuss in private with our therapist, for those who are open to it, but the things that we either suppress or just stray away from because we feel like they don't affect us until they do. These are the things which shifts our energies and impact our lives and disrupts our mental health, and it's time we talk about them. So, for today's lesson, I want to talk to you about the privilege that you don't know you have. The privilege you don't know you have. So, imagine life as a video game where some players get a secret head start and bonus items that they never earned. I'm going to reveal some hidden advantages and explore how this unearned privilege shapes who wins and who loses in society. So let's imagine again life as a video game for a second. Just humor me. All right, except that when you hit start, you don't realize some players begin with a secret head start. They have extra lives. They have bonus items and a map where all the hidden treasures are. They didn't do anything to earn these advantages. They just came with their character's starter pack. Now that you've imagined that, imagine this is not a game, right? Of course, this is real life we're talking about. And the topic that we're discussing is called privilege. And chances are you have more of it than you even realize. Now that word privilege, it can make some people squirm. It can make you feel defensive, like you're being accused of something. But this isn't about blame. This lesson is not about guilt. And it's definitely not about saying your life has not been hard. It is about seeing the invisible systems that give some folks a tailwind while others are fighting a headwind. It is about acknowledging that the game is tilted. And only by seeing the hidden rules can we ever hope to make it fair. So let's talk about the invisible backpack, which is what is privilege. So what is privilege even? Privilege is at the heart an unearned advantage. It is a set of benefits that people get just by belonging to a certain social group. These perks are often invisible to the people who have them because it's just to them normal. The scholar Peggy McIntosh brilliantly described it as an invisible backpack. And inside this pack are special maps and passports and tools that just makes getting through life a little bit easier. You didn't pack it, but it's on your back every single day. Here's a simple example. Being right-handed. The world is built for right-handed people. Scissors, desk, guitars, the spiral on your notebook. And if you're right-handed, you've probably never given this a second thought. You don't feel the advantage. You just feel normal. But ask any left-handed person, myself, and they will tell you about the tiny daily frustrations that remind them the world wasn't designed with them in mind. That's a privilege in a nutshell. It is the absence of an obstacle you didn't know could be there. It's not about your actions, but about the groups that you belong to based on race, gender, class, ability, sexuality, and more. These benefits are baked into our society, often at the expense of others. Now, there are different types of bonus items, privileges. So let's talk about that in this game of life. So there are all these different items and power ups. I want to look at just a few of the big ones, right? The first one I want to talk about is social economic privilege. This is the head start that comes from money and social class. It means having access to better schools, to better health care, and to better career opportunities. It's being able to afford a tutor, to live in a safe neighborhood with great public schools, or to have a safety net if you suddenly lose your job. For someone without that privilege, a single car repair can become a financial catastrophe, putting up roadblocks that have zero to do with their talent or their drive, right? So now let's talk about racial privilege. In many societies, being white means the system is kind of set to default mode for you. It's walking into a store and finding bandages or makeup that's labeled flesh tone that actually matches your skin. It's knowing that if you get pulled over, your race probably won't be the reason why. It's turning on the TV and seeing people who look like you in all sorts of positive roles, right? This isn't to say that white people don't have problems. It just means that their skin color is not the thing creating those problems. Then there's the gender privilege. In most societies, being a cisgender man, meaning you identify with the gender assigned to you at birth, it comes with certain perks. Men are often given more authority at work, in politics. They're less interrupted in meetings and less likely to have their expertise questioned. They can walk to their car at night with a level of safety and security that many women can only take for granted, can't take for granted. This isn't an opinion, this is the pursuit of historical systems built to prioritize men. Now, let's talk about another privilege, able bodied privilege. If you're able bodied, you move through the world without thinking twice, right? About whether a building has a ramp or if a website is screen reader friendly or if you can browse a store without difficulty. For people with disabilities, the world is littered with physical and social barriers that able bodied people are privileged enough to never even notice. These are just a few, as I said, examples of privilege. It shows up based on religion, sexuality, education, and citizenship. Each one is a bonus item, right? Making the game a little easier to navigate, right? But this game has a history. Where does that privilege come from? None of this happens by accident, right? There were systems built brick by brick over centuries. The rule book for our society was written by those in power. Think of colonialism and slavery, which created vicious racial hierarchies that benefited white Europeans at the expense of Black and Indigenous people. The fallout from those systems didn't just vanish, it echoes today, creating disadvantages that are passed down through generations. In the same way, patriarchal systems historically denied women basic rights like voting or owning property, keeping power locked into the hands of men. Laws were intentionally designed to exclude people. For a huge chunk of US history, government housing programs systematically shut out people of color, which is a major reason, again, the racial wealth gap is still so wide today. I did a podcast on it. These historical injustices are the source code for modern privilege. The game was rigged from the start. But I want to talk to you about the multiplayer experience, intersectionality. Now, this is where it gets more complex and more interesting. Nobody is just one thing. You're not just your race or just your gender or just your class. You are a mashup of all of your identities, and they overlap or intersect to create a totally unique experience of the world. The brilliant scholar Kimberly Crenshaw gave this a name, intersectionality. Intersectionality is the lens that helps us to see how all the different parts of our identity combine to create unique advantages and disadvantages. For instance, a white woman benefits from racial privilege but might face sexism in her career. A Black man may benefit from male privilege but faces systemic racism. A disabled woman of color, well, forget about it. She's just navigating a world where all those identities intersect, creating challenges that white able-bodied men will never have to think about. Now, understanding this is so important because it proves that privilege isn't a simple yes or no question. Everyone has a different mix. It moves us to past the pointless who has it worse game, and it helps us to see that all these systems of power are tangled together. You can have an advantage in one area of your life while facing barriers in another. Figuring out your own unique combination is the key to understanding your place in the world. So what now? Now we've acknowledged some of those power-ups, if you will, right? We've peeked behind the curtain and we've seen some of those hidden ruse. What now? Well, the first and most important step is simply to acknowledge. This isn't about feeling guilty. Guilt is useless here. It's paralyzing. The goal here is awareness, not shame. Acknowledging your privilege means taking an honest look at your life and recognizing the invisible tailwinds that have pushed you forward. It is understanding that something you take for granted, like feeling safe in your neighborhood or seeing people who look like you in positions of power, it is a benefit that not everyone gets. This takes humility. It means pushing back against that defensive voice that screams, but my life has been hard. Of course it has. Nobody's saying your life has not been hard. Acknowledging privilege does not erase your struggles nor discount your hard work. It just adds a layer of understanding for other people. The same struggles are piled on top of systemic barriers you never had to face. So, how do we use our privilege for good? Well, once you see your privilege, you can stop seeing it as a source of guilt and start seeing it as a tool. Privilege is power, and you get to choose how you use your power. You can use it to keep things as they are, status quo, or you can use it to help level the playing field. Here's how. First, listen, and then listen some more. Intentionally seek out the stories and the experiences of the people who are different from you. Read books, watch documentaries, and follow creators from marginalized communities. But remember, it's not their job to educate you. Do the work yourself. Secondly, pass the mic. Use your position to amplify other people's voices. If you're in a meeting and someone is being talked over, you can be the one to say, hey, hang on, I'd really like to hear what she has to say. How hard is that? When you have the opportunity, recommend someone whose voice is usually ignored. Use your advantage to make space for others. Thirdly, speak up. Your privilege often gives your voice extra weight. Use it. Call out prejudice when you see it, whether it's an off-color joke from a relative or a biased policy at work. It will be uncomfortable, but your silence is a vote for the status quo. It lets the unfair system roll on. Supporting organizations fighting for equality and voting leaders and policies that aim to dismantle these barriers are also powerful ways to use your power-ups for good. So, the call to action. This is a deep and often uncomfortable topic. And really understanding privilege is a lifelong journey. But it all starts with looking inward. So I want to leave you with a question. What is one unearned advantage or power up in your own life that you've only become recently aware of? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments. Let's make it a space for honest reflection. In conclusion, life is not a video game. There are no cheat codes, and you can't just restart with a different character. We're all playing the hand we were dealt on a field that was never designed to be level. Understanding privilege isn't about feeling bad about your starting advantage. It is about recognizing that you have a powerful role to play in fixing the game's fundamental unfairness. The real challenge isn't just winning for yourself. It's using whatever head start you have, your power-ups, your bonus items, your invisible backpack, to help rewrite the rules so that everyone, no matter their starting pack, has a fair shot to play, to succeed, and to thrive. This has been Get Your Fucking Lessons, people. I hope you got some.